Troy here, finishing up with Imperial Tide. Current year is 1917, but the game is now over. We're not going to go on to 1918 based on some circumstances that occurred during 1917. So if you see here, the current year is 1917. The bot, which is the Allied powers, is B, stands for balanced. So that means that they are going to attack with Russia and recapture Belgrade. Well, good plans, but we all know what happens with the road of good intention is paved with the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Something like that. I'm probably butchering that quote because that didn't happen because Russia fell. One of the criteria for the Russian Revolution is holding Riga, Minsk, and Kiev fell. The Central Powers went first. This was the first turn that they went first. They tried to do a bold Russia save there, but to no avail. Kiev fell, and so the fact that all three of those cities are held means that Russia is out of the game. And they can no longer attack. I assume they can defend because I did use an attack to clean up the last Russian force that was out there. There was a lot of activity around Belgrade. Nonetheless, Romania was really the only thing there that could mount an attack, and they built up some resources and mount an attack. But while Belgrade was still relatively weak, but that failed, and then Belgrade was reinforced by the Austrian-Hungarians, now at a 3. The Greeks finally came in, but much too late, and really didn't have enough probably to go against that, but ran out of attacks because Paris fell. There was some back and forth there, but the Germans were able to mount an attack on Paris. The Italians were holding out here in Nantes, or Nantes. Again, I butchered the name, so apologize to all the French speakers out there, or just English speakers, because I butchered that as well. They held that out and was able to beef up that a little bit, but again, to no avail. The Germans were able to, that was the final blow, is the Germans were able to take that out, and that's one of the conditions for France surrendering is the taking out of that city. And but I mean, we end up the turn with the Allies really not being able to mount much of a counterattack here. The United States did come into play with where is it at here? Lafayette. Here we are. So the United States came in, came down to Cambrai, and again, the huge battle there. But actually, they did try to take Paris. They used let's get it over here. They used a poison gas, but their forces were it didn't pan out their way. Some bad dice rolling there, and then the Germans were able to reinforce and reinforce Paris and the like. There was a battle earlier on at Cambrai with the Commonwealth forces. This is the reinforced Commonwealth forces. They were decimated there with the tank attack at Cambrai. So we did recreate some history there with a huge tank attack there and at Cambrai, but the Germans prevailed in that attack, and that sent the Commonwealth reeling and having to build their forces back up. The French forces, now that they surrendered, are kind of not out of play, but they were building up an attack, a force here with some heavy artillery. But the Germans had the French mutiny card that could help out with that French attack if that came about. Also, a little bit on the history side here, we had the Germans, or the Central Powers, played Caporetto for a battle here, Actually, it was in Undine, which I think Caporetto probably would be more probably in between these hacks here, between Treese and Verona. But yeah, we got Undine. So a little bit of history there. The Austrian-Hungarians won that attack, eliminated the Italian force there, and then that allowed the Austrian-Hungarian force to kind of come back, pick up some of the AP-controlled hexes or areas that they had, and then come back down here to reinforce Belgrade. That's one thing I found out. I ran out of these CP markers. So like there should be a CP marker there. Possibly someone there. Kind of ran out of those. Looking at the sprue, I punched out most things on here, but there's just not a lot of those. There's more of these destroyed fort than what I needed. I did destroy a few forts along the way, but ran out of the control counter. So I don't know if you guys have that same issue. I mean, like there should have been a control counter here too for the Allies, but I kind of ran out of those. So don't know if you ran into that same situation when you were playing this game. Overall, I like it. I like this game. It plays pretty good. The card play, I still don't know if I've got everything down on the interaction of the rules in the card play. The rules aren't really that long, and the cards really do control a lot of the action. The solo play is it's not a full solitaire play. There's a solitaire aid here, and that's really what it is. It's a solitaire aid. I think I'd call this solo assist or bot assisted. The bot really doesn't make the decisions. You really have to make the decisions on what to do for the bot. You follow the cards, but the cards don't say which areas attack. It just says there's an attack, and then you kind of follow this guide here. But a lot of times that wasn't really available. Entrenching, he didn't have an entrench card, or strengthen the Russians. Or, you know, the Russians got pretty decimated, so there wasn't a lot to do there, and you really have to do something on the west side here with what's going on. So you have to make some decisions for the Allies. You have to make pretty much all the decisions. Plus, and I probably need to go into the rules a little bit more. I didn't really see, maybe I just missed it, a lot of rules on how to deal with using the Allied powers resource points as a bot. And because you can use these resource points as attacks, and you get one attack and then you use it, or you can use this to reinforce and put units back on the board, or you can use this to move, use resource points to move, and that counts as a card play. And so I didn't see a lot of explanation, and maybe I missed it, on how you use the bots resource points for attacks, moves. So I just kind of used it to my best of my ability. I kind of said, yeah, they kind of need an attack, so I'm going to use it for that attack, or they need to beef up their resources or their units, so I'm going to use it for that. So I used those at my discretion for the bot, and that's really not covered here in the solitaire aid as much. So you've got some card triggers here. Yeah, I didn't really use this as much. I did use the handicap a little bit, giving an extra build point. I didn't use that handicap as much, but I did give it the bot an extra build point each year. So again, I would kind of call this more solo assist. You still are doing a lot of playing to the best of your ability. The bot's not going to make all the decisions for you. It'll help guide you, and that's good, but it's not the end-all be-all for playing the game. So you really are going to be making a lot of decisions for the bot in that regard. But overall, liked it. It played pretty fast, again, even with me butchering some of the rules. But there you have it. Imperial Tide, the Great War, ends in 1917 with a Central Powers victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.